Welcome. I'm James Franco, the director of Spider-Man 3, here with my friends Toby, Sam,
Hello.
Hi there.
Topher,
Hello.
and Bryce.
Oh, hi.
And Thomas.
Hi. Hello, America and all points beyond.
Hi, this is Kirsten Dunst. I'm in London.
Welcome to the movie. I'm always impressed by this Marvel introduction. So Tim, tell us about this credit sequence.
Well, this is a similar beginning to the other Spider-Man pictures, just so we had some consistency thematically. And then because it's a continuing story, we wanted to refamiliarize the audience with the characters, with your character, you know, Harry and his relationship with Peter, how Peter got bit by the spider, Mary Jane Watson, the fact that these three had always been in a love relationship, because this is a continuation of that relationship. For me, I wanted to make sure that they knew that Harry had her affections early. This is not a new development. To make it as natural as it was that she would fall back into the arms of a old lover. So that was important to show that they had been together.
I think it's cool. I mean, it's obviously a movie sequel, but, you know, comic books are serial by nature, and this kind of feels like just this introduction. I don't know, it makes me feel the comic book backgrounds of the film. We're kicking it off to a funny start here.
Yeah. I love these first two films so much. It was such a blast to become a part of these films after having enjoyed them as a fan.
Yeah, same here. That's the same exact thing. It's just the first two were so strong, and I felt like the second one was absolutely amazing, and even almost surpassed the first one. And so I was just like, okay, what's in store for the third? And I think it really delivered. I mean, it's unbelievable. You guys have just added so much from film to film.
Kyle Cooper designed this credit sequence, and he's got a team of great animatic artists and computer guys that worked with him. It really was getting the audience back up to speed. The ones that had seen the first two, we couldn't expect them to remember all the events that had happened, that she had learned, Mary Jane had learned that Peter Parker was Spider-Man, that their love story had started, that Harry had lost his father to Peter, and that now he had the power to destroy Spider-Man. All these are important elements to put into this piece. We wanted it to be similar to the other title sequences, but be different also.
Yeah. No, I thought it was great too. I mean, the way you approach these films, it really is so much about the characters, and obviously Topher and Bryce were introduced in this one, but Kirsten's character and Toby as Peter Parker and my character have been going for 3 films, and so we really had a chance to resolve a lot of the relationship issues in this film, and so in a way it felt, at least the work we were doing here was deeper, just because we had already established the characters and we could really approach their relationships in a deeper way, I guess.
Sam does like to torture me because this stuff here with the kids throwing spitballs and shining the light in my face, I was like, Sam, isn't this a bit much?
There's Aaron.
And on the contrary, Sam wanted to just keep adding more and more.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And I don't think it was the torture of Peter Parker. I think it was the torture of Toby.
I think so too. There's actually a couple shots I don't think they even made it into the film where
I don't think they were filming it.
Right. I'd be on the board, and Sam thought it'd be great if sand rock hit me in the back of the head, and he volunteered to throw those rocks
right.
again and again and again.
Somehow that didn't end up in the movie. The spirit of it is there, you know.
So
when you're flying away
later
from
when I
it.
slam into the wall too, some bits of the wall were supposed to hit me in the head, and you volunteered for that too.
Anything to help you get in the character, you know.
5 unit
feel
shooting,
the
but
pain.
Sam said, "No, just put those on hold, and I'll throw these rocks."
Left a ticket for me, Peter Parker. Excuse me. Sorry. Thank you. Sorry.
He finally shows up to my play. This is MJ's entrance to the film, and this was my first day of work. There wasn't any audience when I came on stage. Well, this shot there was, but this was at 6 in the morning, first shot. Never walked down these stairs before in these high heels and had to make up my own choreography, too. It was kind of haphazard day. But so I'm lip-syncing to myself in this scene and trying to act like I know what I'm doing.
We didn't have a choreographer for her. We just knew we had to do something that looked elegant. So we quickly asked one of the models that were there, how do you walk down these steps? And she showed this walk to Kirsten, and Kirsten was able to emulate it with a lot of grace. I love that hairdo with her hair up like that. I think it's a great look.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I had a great hair and makeup team. Manny did my hair, and he's very much about character development.
He's so excellent.
Yeah, he really is. And Elaine did my makeup offers, and she's amazing too. I actually dyed my hair for this movie. This was the first one I dyed my hair for, so I think that's why I looked a little better in this one, because the other ones were weird wigs on me. They were pretty too, but it's always better when you can use your own hair.
I think that was the first scene I shot on the film. Maybe not. I can't remember.
No, I think we shot some blue screen stuff first with you.
Oh, that's
and
right. We
Tobey
did the
battling.
whole. Yeah, we did the whole fight scene. This is my first non-action scene.
Yeah. Tobey was laughing his head off when we were shooting that scene of him reacting to Kirsten the first time. He was using it. I didn't know if it was an equal mix of your real reaction or you being in character in the most beautiful, exciting way I'd ever seen. But for you to see her up there, I saw this pride, and you started singing with her. I thought you came up with that in the moment. It was just really funny to me to watch that performance. I loved it.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a great circumstance for Peter to be in.
I never get to see him happy, so it's really a unique moment for me.
I'm your friend, Harry. I cared about your father. MJ.
Peter!
Congrats!
Oh, was I good?
Good. You were great. You
said great. I love my flowers. They're beautiful. And those are from Harry. Was he here tonight? This is the first thing we talked into, so it's always like, you know, getting in the groove of it all again, and so. But it's nice to work with you, Toby, because we're so familiar with each other and we really listen to each other. It's nice to know which buttons you can push in people, though, when you know them that well. So it all goes downhill for MJ from here. That was her high moment of the film.
Sam, I have a question. Do you extensively storyboard your films? Because just the way, like the composition of your shots and the information that you reveal in their shot, like it's so subtle, and I feel like, I mean, what kind of artists do you get involved in that?
Well, I do work with a great bunch of excellent storyboard artists. And every shot in these Spider-Man pictures is storyboarded. Although oftentimes Bill Pope, the cinematographer, and I will abandon the storyboards. They're incredibly helpful and almost necessary for all the effect sequences, because they take so much pre-planning to get the elements all figured out. Oftentimes it could be 5 or 6 elements that have to work together, so there's 3 of them might be shot by even another unit, so it all has to be pretty nailed down in the effects department, like any effects picture. So those boards are very important. But when it comes to the emotional scenes, I try and let the actors, specifically these two, James, yourself, Topher, and Thomas, everybody, guide me, show me find what the scene is, and then put the camera in the right place to capture that, performance-wise. But some of the artists I've worked with that are great, that worked on this film, like Christopher Glass, Gabe Hardman, Dave Lowry, Jeffrey Lynch, Steve Markowski, Rick Newsom, Alex Cannon, Brad Morris, Tyler Thompson, Ryan Woodward, Anthony Zierhut. Those are just some of them. And,
Some of the storyboard artists.
Yes.
You know what I also love that you do? Some of the guys who've been with us or working with you on the storyboards, and you really would empower them and have them go shoot shots and do second unit stuff. And And I've really seen some of the artists blossom over the 3 pictures into, setting the stage for them to go direct or do whatever themselves.
Yeah, they contribute so much, the storyboard artists and the animation artists, and they know more than anyone the meaning of the shot, why it has to be this way, and sometimes there's no better person to therefore direct the shot than the person that really understands what this particular moment is about. I don't mean directing the actors, but I mean, an event or part of an action scene.
That's what I was so struck by, Sam, this entire shoot, was how collaborative you were and how much you're willing to kind of hear people's opinions and let them do their very best and let them shine. And then in the end, of course, everything comes from you. But I felt that just showed such confidence and humility simultaneously, and I really appreciated that. I'm sure everyone else did too.
You're too kind to me. Sometimes I'm still trying to figure out how to do that, because I sometimes run into conflicts. I mean, I need everybody's input to make it all work and to make it special and unique and make it real. No one understands a moment like an actor finally living in the moment. Finally, a director can't create that. It's got to come from the inside of an actor to make a real moment, like these moments with Thomas. At the same time, the director needs certain things to happen, and you've got to somehow be flexible and know the story you need to tell. And I'm often coming to conflicts with it. The toughest one I had was with Topher in this alley scene we were shooting. So I loved Topher, and he was so funny and brought so much humor and life to everything he did. But then I had a conflict with Topher that I still have sleepless nights over, because it's
I gotta say, when I first signed on, Sam, you said to me that it was going to be a collaboration, and the script wasn't even finished, and we were going to find it together. And I remember that first time we all saw it in Japan. I mean, look, I've never been in a film of this scope, and you're like the president of a small country, in leading everyone on a huge project like this, especially after having 2 that came before it that were so successful. And I was so blown away when I saw it and how you brought all the elements together. And yeah, I mean, there are rough days, and there are days where you feel like you found it or you didn't find it. Yeah, I'm sure as a director, like there is as an actor, but you were always there to talk to and to listen. And I don't think you can ask for more than that in a director. Is someone to, and I think people who don't work with you know that. I mean, I certainly knew that coming in.
And as far as Sam is concerned, it was such a wonderful opportunity, because I've been an admirer of Sam's for so long, all the way back to Evil Dead movies, and one of my personal favorites, Simple Plan, which I think is a masterpiece. And the people that do work so tirelessly, and it's just Dan Bradley and Scott and all the special effects guys, and just how they always kind of maintain this Raimi'nin cheerfulness in doing their jobs. It's just great to be a part of that company.
This girl was wonderful, Perla. She's so sweet, and she had another scene at the end of the picture that I ended up not being in the film, along with the fantastic Teresa Russell. They both are left out of the final scene of the picture, but I thought their performances were very real and grounded in this.
You know what I find interesting, and tell me if you want to talk about it, but there's an interesting thing about adapting comic book movies to this, or comic books to the screen, and that maybe because there's so many different versions of the characters, because there's different, Spider-Man series and that kind of thing, and so not all of the origins of the characters are consistent in all the things. So when you make the movie, you have to decide, which stories or which elements you're going to keep. So I was wondering what you guys decided, how you decided to introduce Venom in the way that he's introduced and used, and also Sandman.
Alvin Sargent really wrote the character of Venom. He came up with almost everything that character does. I mean, obviously it was written by the Marvel comic book artists and writers first. And I don't know the artist, the writer, the first drew or wrote the story of Venom, but in this screenplay, Alvin's really responsible for his voice. And then Topher really completed him, added a whole nother dimensionality and humor, and brought to life this great insecurity that I loved. And knew there was a problem with the guy, too. When you guys are out at that festival, at the Spider-Man celebration, and you say, we just had coffee, and then I see his face, there's a problem with this guy. And I thought you really brought the monster to life. All he needed was to be supercharged now. He was already there and just not allowed to quite come out. But basically, that one was written by Alvin and the previous Marvel artists, and I would say Topher. And then Sandman Thomas really created out of pretty much thin air.
I just mean, like, and obviously you couldn't put this in a movie, but Topher, maybe you know too. Like, originally, my friend told me that all the superheroes went into this different world or plane, and everyone was battling it out, and one of the things that came out of it was this weird alien suit, and then it took years to
Are you
develop.
talking about Secret Wars?
Yes,
I'm
yes,
the
yes.
resident geek here now.
So,
I actually read this when I just coincidentally.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
When I was collecting comic books in 5th grade, I got into it because this great illustrator, Todd McFarlane, who was illustrating The Amazing Spider-Man, then went off and had his own Spider-Man comic book. And, like, I went to a mall, and I had the first issue of his comic book just called Spider-Man, signed by him.
The Lizard, right? Was the...
he did in that one. The Lizard was a big deal. So it was. I remember my mom. I literally remember reading these comic books and my mom saying, "Do your homework. Like, when are you ever going to need to use this in your adult life?" But
that's funny.
It was great. I mean, I remember when I was first sitting with Sam, when we first started meeting about it. I had all these ideas and opinions, and also a lot of fear because I was such a fan of the character, and he's a little different in the comic book, and I wanted to. Please the fan and myself.
You really did. You were very concerned about the fans feeling that the portrayal of Venom was accurate.
But to answer your question, there's a thing called Secret Wars, which was kind of like a spin-off, I guess you'd call it, in the comic book world. And he kind of found the suit and brought it back to Earth, and then it became this evil symbiote, and he got rid of it. And it was only kind of told in flashback how it leaked onto Eddie Brock.
Yeah.
But I actually like the origin of the character the most in this movie. It's kind of a combination of Ultimate Spider-Man, which is a retelling of Spider-Man when he's younger, and the Amazing Spider-Man.
This is like we shot this like months and months before, or maybe we reshot it, but I remember shooting a version of this months and months before, and then that's right where Sam threw the rock on my head.
This was like our very first day of shooting this stuff, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, I remember before I think I was just hired and I came on set and saw you guys doing this.
That's right, you came by to visit.
Mm-hmm.
You blew us away, by the way. Toby and I, and Laura Ziskin and Grant Curtis were all in the room in the Jimmy Stewart building here at Columbia Pictures, and your audition was incredible. You were so good in that audition.
Well, and to frame it, which is basically she came in for a meeting to meet with us about it, and
Laura forced her to audition.
Well, basically she got put on the spot, which none of us wanted to do, but Laura was just like, "Would you read it, honey?"
She's a good producer. She was trying to make sure the movie was had the cast when it needed it.
Because we've always thought too, it wasn't so much about I mean, I personally knew your work and knew you could act, so to me, it's not really a question of that. But when we were casting the first movie, even we read with a bunch of different girls, and it came down to chemistry. It really is like if it kind of clicks right between the two characters, and so when you were like, sure, yeah, I'll do it, and it was so kind of fun and casual, and you didn't even look at it and picked it up, and we just did the scene. It was like one of those exciting feelings when we did it, and we all kind of knew, and then you left the room, and we're all looking at each other, giving like the thumbs up kind of thing, so cool. like okay, that's it, we're done. It's awesome.
That was a great moment. I remember.
I'm glad I really got to audition, because I know based on just a meeting I wouldn't have gotten it, because I look so different from Gwen Stacy, and so it's just like, oh, well, that was nice, but she's just like totally inappropriate for the part. So I'm so glad I had a chance to like do that. And I just had a really fun time too. You guys were all so nice.
You brought it to life. You brought a real energy to the screen, not just in that audition, but in the movie. And that's why you and Topher were so important. The young, filled with life characters. One representing a positive force, the other competition and a force of darkness. why it was so important. Thomas' storyline is a little more separate than your guys's, but we needed that for the interaction with Kirsten and James and Tobey to enliven it.
Yeah.
And then Thomas more represents something from Tobey's past and present that he has to deal with, but it's a little more outside that.
Yeah.
I'd love to break subject for a second and actually talk about what's on the screen, because I just think this action sequence is phenomenal.
It's unreal.
And would love to know any little tips you want to give us about how this is made. And
Well, this was just the work of hundreds of artists and animators. Spencer Cook, our chief animation director, Scott Stockdyke, the visual effects supervisor, and great stuntmen like our stunt coordinator, Scott Rogers, who worked literally probably 100 different rigs and devices to get the characters, yourself and James and your stunt doubles, to move about in the way that the storyboards and the animatics were asking, the story was asking. And then a lot of it was designed and helped by, first of all, Jeff Lynch, my great storyboard artist and architect, but also my second unit director.
And how
both of them.
it seems like these sequences have advanced so much since the first one even, and what in particular has changed? I mean, I remember you talking about how we're much more confident about catching just the aerial flight by, just with the movement of the camera, and that it was much more static on the earlier ones. And
I didn't think that I had a lot of confidence in photographing Spider-Man, and when I say myself, I mean my entire team on the first picture. I didn't even know if a CG character would work.
Yeah.
John Dykstra felt that it could, and so we went through intensive amounts of tests and finally realized that it would work.
Go again. And clear.
No response.
Let's recharge and do it one more time, and clear. Captain Stacy.
What's this?
Flint Marco, the guy we tied to the Ben Parker homicide.
What about him?
He just broke out of Rikers.
And?
He's on the run. He's in the marshlands. I think we got him.
There he is!
This is Tom's great idea. I'm sorry to break subject, like you say, but he said, I want to hit this dog. He wanted to let the audience know, that he had some weight to him. We had just come out of a softer scene with him, and he is a villain, and he had to let the audience know he could deal with Spider-Man if he had to.
That was whenever we were doing the pre-shoot, and it was the very first day we were downtown L.A., and I thought, okay, I'm going to probably make the most inappropriate suggestion ever. And I went to Sam and I said, "Is there any way I could punch a dog in a movie for children?" And Sam was clearly receptive to the idea. But
I think it was great. It's obviously it's a puppet dog provided by KNVFX, and we had our second unit director shoot some real photography with an attack dog and a stunt double, and then Thomas was bold enough to punch the puppet. That's what, as far as he would contribute.
But you know what? The real dog got me back for punching his puppet neighbor because one of those dogs bit me on the heel when I was going over that fence.
Oh my God.
And I was like, "Is there any way we can get this dog to stop biting me?" And I think we did like 10 takes, and I think the dog hit my foot about 9 of 10 takes. You didn't know that, did you, Sam?
No.
That's because you were off having a cappuccino while we were shooting the scene.
Got to stay alert.
I would love to continue hearing too from Thomas, from you and Sam, about just the creation of this character, because I really love, I love this sequence, but I also love what you guys did with the character.
When I first signed on, there was no script. There was just an idea, and Sam walked through all of, at that point, the storyboards that existed, but there was a completely different villain at that point, and was going to be hopefully played by a thespian as diametrically opposed to Topher as I think you can get in the human race. And
it was a vulture, and we had Sir Ben Kingsley, who's going to play that role.
Sir Ben
And
Kingsley.
Sir Ben Kingsley.
Serban.
but the early formation of the character, it was that there was this kind of grudging alliance that was struck in prison between Vulture and the Sandman, or Flint Marko rather, and that was kind of the genesis of how I started forming the character. But Sam really came up with what I think was probably the most significant inspiration for me, which was to enlighten me with the ancient Jewish folkloric character of the Golem, which was a mud creature that was summoned by a rabbi in Poland in the 13th century. And it was such an innocent and malevolent character, and Sam gave me a book, a story, really a picture storybook for children, but it tells the story of the Golem in such eloquent and kind of innocent dialogue and pictures, and I that was really, for me, that was the linchpin for the character.
I was fine somewhere.
Yeah, that's weird. Sam gave me "Mommy, where do babies come from?" I still don't understand why.
I really like it. Your portrayal of that lout. He's a crude man, but capable of violence and certainly anger. And he's not a smart man, but he's obviously got a big heart.
Okay.
And I believe you pulled both sides of that character off very well.
Yeah. Great.
Get some sleep.
I think he's gonna be fine.
I think so.
And you guys seem great.
Yeah.
You have lovely friends.
My best friends. I'd give my life for them.
This is my favorite scene of the film. It's so poetic, and there's no actors, which isn't a good sign. CGI can be more moving than a scene between people. But this is really such a beautiful scene.
I remember the first time I saw this, just my mouth was just open the entire time. I can't believe this. I just think this is like a work of art, this sequence. It's so beautiful. And it's emotional. I mean, it's amazing.
Chris Young did a beautiful score for this. Mm-hmm. And Thomas modeled for this repeatedly on video on the floor of some office building with me.
I have to admit, we would be shooting, and right before we'd break for lunch, many days, the call would come in on the walkie that Sam wanted to go through the Birth of the Sandman sequence during lunch for Spencer and Scott. And I have to admit, I periodically hoped that call wouldn't come in on the walkie, because I went through this so many times. But you know what? Whatever contribution is there, I do think it's one of the reviewers or one of the critics said that the entire sequence is like a Henry Moore sculpture, which I thought was a beautiful artistic reference.
So many people contributed to this sequence, including conceptual artist E.J. Kreiser, our costume designer, James Atchison, who worked on not just the costume, but the look of the Sandman. And working with many sculptors and sketch artists helped determine that the creature would have negative space, like a castle that had fallen out, and that more than anything contributed to the look of it really being built out of sand, and how the face and the arms would look. And then we had great animators and storyboard artists all contributing to this. There are literally hundreds of animators on this particular sequence, millions of grains of sand to be manipulated under the watchful eye of Spencer Cook.
I agree with you, Sam. I think the score is terrifically evocative of everything that we were trying to capture emotionally.
There was a tremendous amount of effects work done in post on this particular sequence with SPI and Scott Stockdeck supervising, but also we had a great VFX editor, Jody Fidel, and Bob Morosky to work at the pacing and the feel of the flow of that particular scene. It's a very difficult scene to edit because it takes place in such long takes. So a lot of editing would take place within this shot, speeding up a few frames here. Can we pick up this pace of this lifting of this arm a bit here? It was all a very unusual process for us.
Yeah?
It's me.
Oh! Hey!
You know I can't open the door.
It's stuck again?
Look, come on and help me.
I'm coming. Hey.
The review.
Oh.
They hated it. They hated me.
Well, they can't hate you.
The young Miss Watson is a pretty girl. Easy on the eyes, but not on the ears. Her small voice didn't carry past the first row.
That's ridiculous. I was right there.
You were in the
Whenever I watched the movie for the first time at the Tokyo premiere,
You were great.
I have to admit,
Critic.
I laughed many times at
Used to.
Toby's unique dry delivery, like that line he just said where, well, they can't hate you. It's very funny.
You can't let it bring you down.
My favorite, I love him in this scene. His look after she snaps at him here.
Don't give me the horse thing. Try and understand how I feel.
Such a boy thing. Oh my God, I recognize that look.
I think all men know that moment. I didn't do anything. And I'm sorry that I didn't do anything. I don't know what you're yelling at me about.
Whenever we'd get to scenes like this, we'd spend like 4 hours fixing a line. And so sometimes we'd get into it, which is usually done in rehearsal, but sometimes we'd spend the day, you know, fine-tuning scenes.
Who came up with the idea to kind of have Peter Parker get caught up in, you know, his own ego and self-importance and the black suit and all that? When did that first come up, or who came up with it, or?
Well, in a separate story than the black suit,
Yeah.
Ivan and I had him falling to the sin of pride.
Got it.
It was all about how pride won't allow him to be wrong, and how it makes him look at Flint Marko as a villain and himself as a hero, and how he's going to take on a grander sense of right and wrong and the grays of this world of morality by the end of the piece. Then the black suit came into it, and it was used to be a metaphor to try and carry that. It got very messy, but try and carry that idea.
I just want to say really quickly that the gentleman that was just taking my photograph, he told me when I met him that he was a magician for, I think, my second grade birthday, or like when I was like 7 years old for my birthday party.
Oh wow, he was great. I loved him in that scene.
Yeah, he was really amazing.
They got some kind of short up there. They can't shut down the crane.
Get Edison on the phone. Have them kill the power to the whole block.
Are you all right?
It's coming back!
Oh my God, this is so terrifying for me to watch now, because now I know that I was pregnant when I did all of this, and it's just like completely reckless.
Not only that, but we were doing all these terrible things to you, and you were letting us with the harness. And then I look over and your father's standing next to me.
Oh no.
Oh, hello, sir. I was so embarrassed.
Oh no, he was doing post-production for Da Vinci Code while we were shooting this, and he kept wandering by the set. He was so into your directing and so into this movie.
I'm such a big fan of your father's films. I was really nervous and self-conscious when he was on the set.
Oh no. Well, I was just like, don't you have your own movie to handle right now? Like, why are you on this set? But he was so into it, which I'm not surprised about. Oh my God, this was such drama because there was a fan right under my skirt, and we kept trying to figure out ways that the skirt wouldn't blow up over my head. They had to bring in like a science team to like figure it out.
Now I gotta say, I love the sound in this sequence. All the sound effects stuff. I mean, that is just awesome. It really elevates the action.
Sound was designed by Paul Otteson. He also designed the second picture. And we had fantastic mixers in Greg Russell and Kevin O'Connell, who mixed all 3 of the Spider-Man films.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. It really adds to the whole movie and the experience of watching the movie.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you.
Hey, Spidey, hold on. Bugle needs a photo. Thank God you're okay.
Daddy!
Hey, I'm the new guy. New guy? You okay? Now on, I am going to be taking shots of you for the Bugle. So, smile. Are you smiling? Just kidding. They got a guy. Who, Parker?
I love that line you came up with. You smiling? Just kidding. Are you smiling? No, it's really good.
Kind of amateur. Have you noticed his stuff makes you look a little bloated? Just
In every movie, when you visualize a scene in your head, even from rehearsal, it changes completely when you're there. Anything you rehearse goes out the window, and you feel free to change it and do whatever you'd like, which is good about you, Sam, because you're always open.
Dazzle me.
Hey, you're not going to talk about how awesome your brother is, but he's a great guy and a really funny actor. I know you're dying right now, me saying this, but I had a really fun time hanging out with him this whole week. And, you know, JK's amazing, too.
Ted was great, and I think both everybody had more fun stuff to do in this movie.
Yeah, especially Elizabeth. She had some really great stuff.
Oh yeah, she really did.
She had so many good ideas, Elizabeth Banks, that I couldn't even put in the picture because the story was so big, you know. But she really had some great character ideas about where her and Peter Parker could have progressed to in real subtle ways. But the story was so overloaded, we just couldn't explore them to the depth that we wanted to. She's a great comedian.
a couple lattes is like, and how?
Originally, that character is Peter Parker's first love or girlfriend, right?
That's right.
Not that one. Not that one. Drink plenty of water.
Thank you.
JK's amazing.
I love these two's chemistry. You guys you're great with her.
I've known her for a long time. And she's the first person I saw that I knew when I got the film. I saw her at a party or something, gave me a big hug, and I was psyched to do this with her.
That's great. Maybe that contributed to your easy chemistry you guys had together.
I'm sure. And we, you know, I think this was one of my first days on the film. And it blew me away because having been such a big fan of the first two, and then being in the Bugle and having, you know, JK's version of his character is so similar to how I saw it in the comic book. And then, you know, Tobey walks in and is talking to me. And it's funny because I think it was one of the later scenes where I'm supposed to be angry. And I felt like I was at, you know, at Universal Studios, they say, like, we'll let you be in the movies. Like, I felt like I was on the Spider-Man ride, like, smiling ear to ear, but I had to be angry.
I like Bernstein's.
I love this.
Cheaper, too. Congratulations, son. We'll use your shot. I'll pay you $50.
That always killed me when he did that.
I know more about what makes a good picture than any photographer in this town. See, photography, it's not just about, no offense, flagpoles or whatever. It's about lighting, composition, drama.
I also really love that, Sam, that you allowed me to play a couple beats with Bryce where it felt like we had something, so that there was a mislead. A lot of these kind of summer blockbuster type movies, they don't let there be misleads, like everything's over explained. But I love that you let it build so that when I see her at the fair, that you realize that we've only had like one date, and I've really blown it out of proportion. It's good that the audience believes it at first. And I also think I'm kind of nicer than you think at the beginning too.
Yeah, and you're kind of attractive. You're a little better dressed than Tobey.
Shut up. Get out. I want the public to see Spider-Man for the two-bit criminal he really is. He's a fake. He's full of stickum. Catch him in the act. Spider-Man with his hand in a cookie jar. Whoever brings me that photo gets a job.
Tobey's on to you, though. Somehow he knows. He knows that's what you are. Not the extent of it, I don't think, yet.
Oh, we'll see.
Man, Sam, New York City is filled with so many attractive women.
I'm a married man, so I hadn't noticed.
I noticed that actually. I think the second time I was watching it, I was like, wow, all the extras are just beautiful women.
One of the appeals of those Spider-Man comic books is always a lot of good girl watching in them.
That was a nice little moment there with Stanley.
That was Stanley, yes, before.
Oh, yeah.
This is Mr. Paxton, Bill Paxton's father.
Thanks, Bernard.
He's such a gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, a very funny man.
Homecoming present.
Was in all 3 films.
That's right.
Yeah. Thanks, buddy.
It's nice to be able to bring those characters back that had small parts and expand their roles a tiny bit to have a little bit more depth and history to them.
That's right.
Do I have any girlfriends? I don't know. You don't? Hey, Bernard, do I have any girlfriends?
Not that I know of, sir.
This was all shot at Greystone Mansion.
Supposed to be haunted.
It's a pretty cool pad, huh?
So he's quite good at basketball.
It's like I'm not hurt.
I don't know about that.
In fact, both the Doheny mansions are in this picture. That was one of them. This is a set, of course, now that they're on. But the other one was the dinner, the restaurant scene between Bryce and Toby and Kirsten and Bruce Campbell in supposedly a restaurant, but it's actually the other Doheny mansion.
We loved you. That's the main thing. Hey, let's watch a game in the kitchen. Get something to eat.
Okay.
I remember sitting in an incarnation of that set on part 2. You were talking about how I would have a whole team of female goblins that we were going to call the Goblettes, and I would be the top of in the penthouse, and Harry was going to be kind of a swinging party guy villain.
We had talked about that. Yeah, James Atchison really liked that idea. I actually have designs of those girls, believe it or not.
Some other girls got my gig.
There's Chris, right?
Yes, that's a cameo by our composer, Chris Young, standing at the piano, or hunched at the piano.
These guys are great,
Oh
man.
my
They
God,
got it
this is-
so right. Like, so right.
We tried to reach you. I'm sorry.
One critic?
No, all the papers, dear.
Mary Jane, honey, sit down. Let's
Listen,
explain
if
it to
you'd
you.
like, we could say you became ill.
That was so poorly handled.
Let's just rehearse.
All right, fighting!
I love this shot because you kind of see like the pride and the ego building up with this shot.
He's really good in it. He's really
Yeah.
getting into it.
Yeah.
And it's such a light thing for him. I mean, what's wrong with dancing to the tune? Except that they're singing about him.
Yeah.
Can I please see that gorgeous smile?
Hi, Eddie.
You're so beautiful. This is front page stuff.
Okay, I've got to practice. I'll see you later, okay?
How about tonight?
Not tonight.
Why not? How about that amazing night that we had?
We had coffee, Eddie.
Hey, beautiful.
You were really subtle and good in that scene, both of you. Just really,
Oh, thank you.
that's what we needed. It was burning hot during these sequences at this Spider-Man celebration. Scorchingly so.
Oh, she did such a good job in this scene.
There's a great duality in that sequence. The complete anti-chemistry between Bryce and Topher, and then you have this very sweet, but kind of bittersweet moment with Tobey and with Kirsten. I really think it's a nice double play for the romantic element of the movie.
Thomas, this is one of the first scenes that you and I shot together.
This was at the very beginning when we did the pre-shoot in November of 2005.
That's right. Shot in Los Angeles.
I always felt this police officer, once he gets up there and he's going with his shovel and he just like digs it into the sand, is like a bit aggressive.
Like what?
Well, he's a bit aggressive because, I mean, he could just like pierce your skull or something. He doesn't know you're like a big super villain right now.
Talk about poking the bear, though. He really...
Right. This is another amazing action sequence that this is one of the first stuff I saw of like what the Sandman was going to look like. I'm just amazed, so happy.
They did a really fine job with the CG. And Thomas gave us really good models with all those dots on his face, those motion capture dots.
Now those are real cars getting flipped around and stuff, right?
Yeah, Dan Bradley rigged all of this up for me along with our mechanical effects team, John Fraser and his group, and took basically weeks to rig up these 30-some automobiles to go and spin and pop in a sequence at a speed that would make it seem as though the CG sand that was added later was triggering them. We made sure it was very safe.
Now, to what you were saying, Thomas, and there's a whole different level of ease between Kirsten and James in this scene and her comfort level with him versus Peter.
Bump on the head, I'm as free as a bird.
I thought Harry would be more, he's kind of innocent now. He's lost his memory, and he's kind of the guy he would be if he hadn't had such a terrible father. And I thought if he was eating cotton candy, that would add to the...
That was great, yeah. It's such a great touch you came up with. This is probably the guy Pete, became friends with, obviously, back in the first picture. Sensitive guy.
Writes plays for girls.
It's great that we got to see who he would have been for a brief time before we lose him.
Yeah, I mean, you really don't see... In the first one, you see a little bit of their friendship before things
But I don't
start
get to see
go bad.
much because that jealousy thing kicks in right away with the father and loving Peter so much.
So it's really nice to be reminded of it in this film.
That's how Ivan and I felt, along with Alvin Sargent, that we had to experience the friendship so it meant something. It was tangible for the audience. We couldn't just remember a bit of it from the first picture.
Mm-hmm.
We had to have it here and now so that Peter's recognition of what was important by the end of the picture had some weight to it, and so the sacrifice had some weight to it, some drama.
I think we were supposed to go ice skating at one point. We did a lot of training at ice skating, and then it didn't make it in the film.
This film was being written in so many versions, so many different ways, and we had to all start working on it before it was ready. Because this film had a release date, and we all had to work toward delivering that picture. It was such a massive undertaking that it had to have a release date planned, and all hundreds, in fact thousands of people and stages secured in advance that simply had to be shot at a particular time, ready or not. That's why all the actors' contributions were so important to making this thing work.
I love the look on Kirsten's face when she sees Gwen kiss Spider-Man.
This was kind of funny for me because it was like, shock from that, and then trying to find a private moment, and then suddenly sandstorm. So it's like you couldn't even emotionally digest what just happened because you're shocked by something else. This movie it's funny the kind of emotional roller coaster you go on. It's everything's so dramatic.
That's Grant Curtis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There he goes.
Oh. I think he was
suffering the wrath of a sand fist.
He was pulling sand out of his ears for like 6 months later.
Jig's up, pal.
I don't want to hurt you. Leave now.
I guess you haven't heard. I'm the sheriff around these parts.
It's a great line, man.
Tobey came up with that line.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's something that was fun for him, a little cocky.
Yeah, it's a little, yeah.
You're surprised that someone's not aware of him. He's so full of himself.
It was a good opportunity. I think it's hard to find opportunity to build story and character when in action sequences in a suit. So I thought it was, you know, a kind of a natural opportunity for that to kind of advance what was happening with Peter.
You always do that. In every moment you can contribute to the character where he's at, express it in a realistic, good way, you're there. Also, if you have another line you can add for yourself, you seem to come up with it, too.
I'm always up for that.
Yeah, the part gets bigger.
Where do all these guys come from?
All these guys.
I think this is the last thing I ever did in the movie, that shot. Because that was the reshoots.
It was a larger role in the movie that had been planned for Becky Ann Baker. You hardly see her at all, except in the background is your mom in the picture. I'm so sorry that she's not in more of the film. She's a great actress.
Yeah, she really is.
You'll see a bit of her in this sequence. That's why I mentioned her.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think Bruce Campbell is just fantastic in this.
Yeah.
This is a French restaurant.
I loved working with you two guys. You really, you're not afraid to try things. That's what's great about you.
Yeah.
You did all sorts of different versions of this scene in case some of it didn't work, in case you want a piece of it, but not all of it. Different bits, different gags. I love the fact you're willing to play like that, Tobey.
Oh, it was fun. It was great with him. And I think at first it was like a more antagonistic type of relationship. And we, through working on it, I think decided that they would kind of like each other.
That's right. You had to make sure that you had to find the right reaction, the right relationship with him. You kind of found it during the shooting of this.
Oh, so you want to pop the question tonight, huh?
Yes, and I want to do something very special.
I love it. Romance. I am French.
When I signal you, if you'd bring some champagne
he's so
with the
funny,
ring.
man.
Is the bottom of her glass?
Perfect.
Magnifique.
Also, I thought at the same time...
Thomas, did you ever work with Bruce on this picture? You didn't, right?
No, but he's terrific in this sequence.
And take good care of the ring.
He's always playing someone that tortures Tobey in these movies. He's in all three of them.
I like you.
I like you.
Thank you.
Bonne chance.
Bonne chance. Oh. Okay. So, would you like some champagne? How'd that get in there? Oh, don't.
Toby.
That's what I really like too. It's funny, but it's also, it shows us where he's at and what he thinks of himself and the slippery slope he's slowly sliding down. Oh.
I gotta say, I loved it. It really made it exciting, like the new places that Peter went to in this movie for me to play, because it was like, it's kind of out of character for him, you know?
What would happen if this guy we knew started to believe his own press and kept going and going, hey, wait, we liked you before, please don't go there.
Yeah.
He doesn't even see, I can see how you're playing, you don't even see it coming.
And at first I wanted to be kind of careful with it, and I don't want to go too far into it. Like this little speech here about, the stuff I'm saying, I was a little hesitant to go as far. And by the time we were getting into it, I just wanted to go further and further.
I'm just a nerdy kid from Queens. Do I deserve this?
Hi, Pete.
Hi.
Hi, my parents and I were just having dinner here.
Oh.
Hello. I'm Gwen Stacy.
This is Mary Jane Watson.
I love that off camera the entire time there's this whole Keystone Cop dynamic with Bruce Campbell and
Yeah.
the waiters. It really keeps this comedic undercurrent that I think is very entertaining.
I think that was really ambitious and really pulled off in an amazing way that I wasn't sure about. I asked Sam, I was like, are you sure this is going to work? And Sam said, no, I'm not, but we're going to give it a shot. And I think it just came off so well.
Well, it was lovely to meet you.
Good night.
Good night.
You can also see James Cromwell back there. Was in the picture more too, but we had to diminish the story just because of the running length of the picture for no other reason. I really enjoy his performance.
Great actor.
Everyone wants everyone to look their best, so every film we just try to improve that, and so I think on this film, we all look the best we could look. And you know what else I was thinking of? Nina and Claire Hallworth, who did my costumes, I've been friends with them for a while, and I brought them on. They did my costumes in the second and carried it on through this film, and Nina and Claire are very specific with my wardrobe and developing Mary Jane, and we decided her costume should be, look vintage or look very simple, but she wanted to look good in her little black dress.
Hey, Toby, just for fun,
Just a girl in my class.
do you think that Peter has ever thought about it, or do you think he's completely innocent right now?
You mean with Gwen?
Yeah. Because there's something, you know
I
what I
think
mean?
he feels a little guilty. I don't think he's done anything that would technically be called a betrayal, but I think he's had a friendlier relationship than he's copped to Mary Jane.
Well, in that very first scene in the classroom, her smile and she's kind of fawning, and you see him bask in that for just the briefest moment, and I think that sets this scene up really well.
Yeah.
He's guilty of that. Yeah, he tutored her and he took some pride in her success.
Maybe he admired her sweater a little bit more than he should have.
I love that the violinist keeps playing despite the fact that you've obviously been stood up.
That just occurred to me. That made me laugh in Tokyo, that you still hear this very kind of soulful yet mournful violin in the background.
Hi, it's MJ. Sing your song at the beep. Beep.
Hello. I wish you'd pick up the phone. I don't know what's
I
going
like
on.
so much that you're apologetic, Toby, but also a little angry. I can see as soon as she picks up the phone, we might learn a little bit about that. I can see you're a little annoyed beneath it. Not just hurt.
Okay. Call me. Bye. Hello.
Mr. Parker?
Yeah?
This is Detective Neil Garrett from the 32nd Precinct. I'm calling on behalf of Captain Stacy. He would like you to come down to the station to speak with him.
Originally, we thought that this man, Dennis Carradine, was your husband's killer. We were wrong.
What?
Turns out Mr. Carradine was only an accomplice. The actual killer is still at large.
What are you talking about?
This is the man who killed your husband.
It turns out it was this man. He was also in George of the Jungle.
Yeah, by the way, I meant to say something. You were so good in that.
Thank you, Toph.
This scene was the last night in New York, the last night of the movie we shot.
Because remember, Sam, we wrapped this scene and went straight to the airport in Newark and flew home.
Yeah,
it was the absolute last frames of the film that were shot when we were in New York.
I think we're all exhausted too, completely exhausted by that point. July 1st, 2006 it was.
I remember we were in the Newark lounge and Sam tried to order a drink and they told us it was too early. I don't know why I was quite amused by that. No, sir, we are not going to allow you to drunken yourself.
It was too late is what it was.
We chased down the wrong man. Now you're telling me you had suspicions for 2 years? Witnesses? Why weren't we told about this?
Settle down, son.
No, I have no intention of settling down. This man killed my uncle, and he's still out there.
L20 Parkway, all officers in the vicinity, please report. We have an abandoned vehicle and an elderly man in the middle of the street. Wabash Avenue.
Peter, it's MJ.
We really struggled, Kirsten, Tobey, and I, to find the right things to say and the right qualities of this scene. Laura Ziskin and Alvin Sargent and my brother Ivan all contributed, but I remember it was a struggle to determine just where they were and exactly how his pride was blinding him and how he was shutting her out because of his inability to admit to any sort of sin or need for help.
Killer?
And do something you'll regret. But that other guy.
He had a gun on me. I made a move and he fell. I told you that.
I'm not accusing you of anything.
1022, auto at 5.
Will you turn that thing off?
I love that one.
It was really a low point for both these characters for me, her and him. And because you need to be needed.
That you feel guilty, but I want to be here for you.
Okay. I get it. Thank you. But I'm fine.
It's a low accusation, but she's trying to make him aware that he's done something wrong, damn it. He just won't go there.
Yeah, and he's just shutting her out.
Everybody needs help sometimes, Peter. Even Spider-Man.
I think it was hard for me to do this scene. Maybe the one made it hard because it was such a bad place for these characters to go to.
No, I was struggling here. It was hard to find. I mean, I think I wasn't even sure when we were doing it. I was a little lost. This was the most lost I was. I mean, between her and I understood what was going on with Peter outside of her, and then
it was such new ground and such a big step for the characters to take. It was for me very an uncertain thing at the time. It was like exploration.
Tobey, you told me you were your most lost when we were shooting our scene at the end of the movie. I'm a little confused.
Okay, this is just a line I use on all the newbies.
I'm confused and
you said
jealous
you almost
at the
lost
same
every single
time.
scene we had together. What was that all about?
Cliff Robertson is such a trooper and a gentleman. It's been an honor to work with this fella throughout the pictures. In the brief scenes with Tobey in the first movie, he added so much credibility to their relationship.
Yeah, I've always loved working with him, and he's always contributed so much. He's brought so much more to the character than I think he was given. You know, he just brought such life to it and always had great ideas. am I?
I think you guys were so, in terms of you and your brother and Alvin, to go to a darker place with a character. The first two films, there have been such a bold line between good and evil. And to blur that line, I think is like a really kind of provocative thing, especially in a big summer movie like this. But then also sometimes I think that like the kids that started watching Spider-Man 1 when they were 10 are now like 17 years old and are ready for something like this. But I thought, I don't know, like the darker you go is equal to the amount of reward you get in terms of him forgiving, you know, the forgiveness at the end and how powerful that was.
Something else. What do you think?
I've never seen anything like it. I'm a physicist, not a biologist, but let me look at it in the morning and run some tests.
Can we do that now?
Don Baker is such a great professional. I love working with this guy.
Don't let any of that get on you.
Why not?
It has the characteristics of a symbiote, which needs to bond to a host to survive.
He adds a lot of credibility to just a little tiny bit in the picture.
Mm-hmm. It can be hard to unbind.
Bank robbery in progress. First Eastern Bank at 202 Bismarck. Another sandstorm is reported in the vicinity. All cars, proceed with caution.
Marco.
Sam, how did you create the movements for Black Spidey? Like, saying, because he's obviously stronger, but it's like such a, I mean, because Spider-Man is supposed to be able to pretty much do anything. And so how did you kind of do that?
Well, all of the movements of Spider-Man, for starters, are really based on the illustrations of the great Marvel artists.
Mhm.
And then I would use those to show them to the animator as poses, keyframes of how I wanted him to look. And then we would carry that into the storyboards. All the fellas would look at those art poses from the comics and understand this is how Spider-Man looked. And then great animators like Spencer Cook would start to develop a style of movement from one pose to the next that was still within that body language that the illustrations of the comic book suggested. And then as far as Black Spidey then, we wanted to make him a more extreme, a little bit nastier, a little bit, not the thing that Topher plays later, but in that direction because he's affected by the symbiote. So I asked Spencer to come up with a language of movement for him, and he did some tests, and we gave notes back and forth. And it was a more extreme, slightly nastier version of what Spider-Man would do.
Basically, Spider-Man, you know, classic Spider-Man, is not looking to hurt anybody. And the black-suited Spidey is just much more aggressive and actually wants to give Sandman a thumping. Wants to go get Flint Marco.
Yeah, he's in touch with his anger.
What do you want from me?
Remember Ben Parker?
I remember when we shot this, Sam and I had a conversation about the Black Spider-Man and how remorseless a real spider is when it has its prey in its web. It's a fairly removed and emotionless process as it tries to kill its prey. And I really, throughout shooting all of this sequence, I really kept returning to that dynamic of how emotionless a spider would be as a predator.
You took a lot of falls during this, Thomas. A lot of hits. The This was a gigantic movie to shoot. I remember we had like 5 stages going at once, and these gigantic sets on each of the stages, from the Daily Bugle to this fantastic sewer set. We had 2 really fine production designers, Michael Riva and Neil Spisak. Leslie Pope was their right-hand woman. And so many artists designing these sets and painting them and constructing them. It was a massive crew. And then this was built to contain these thousands of gallons of water, making it a really, really difficult set to build, to be able to withstand that pressure of that flood that John Fraser and his team cooked up. It was built in the dump tank here at Columbia Pictures.
Good riddance.
Rent?
Not now.
Listen, it's a free country. It's not rent-free country.
Leave me alone.
Give me rent.
You'll get your rent when you fix this damn door!
Ilya.
And Magana?
Yeah, great. We'll love working with the both of them. They always just come in briefly for a tiny little piece of time and provide a lot of life to the picture, and pathos, and some good comedy.
So Sam, it seems like since part 2, we were I remember discussing what would happen in part 3, and a lot of the things were, the broader elements stayed the same, but a lot of the details changed between 2 and then when we started 3, and then even on 3, we were still fine-tuning a lot of the things. What was a lot of the thought process that went into the final result?
You mean why the changes?
Yeah, and what they were, and
I think one of the major changes was that once the story was written, and it was very ambitious in and of itself, it needed a lot of paring down and concentration of ideas and elimination of others. But before that took place, there was a mandate that we put in, a desire to put in Venom, because the kids who are fans of Spider-Man so love that character.
Yeah, I think it's the most popular villain, I think.
So I think before this...
I mean, I don't want to get competitive, but yeah.
I mean,
the
the comic book version, yeah.
So I think the reason there were changes so late into the process was that the script was undergoing, while it was trying to find itself, the movement of the main characters, the villains were changing. And once Venom comes into something, it demands so many changes, because then you're telling the story of Eddie Brock and his relationship with Peter and Jameson, and in this case Gwen Stacy, and his competition, and that element has to be dramatized. And then he brings with him the idea of we have to now tell this stuff that comes in from outer space, or however it would come in, the black goo, and how it affects Peter, and how Peter would shed it, and how it would come upon Eddie. It has so much story material with it that it just put the whole screenplay into, I think, an upheaval for the longest time. And then shooting began before it had actually settled out.
Right.
So I think that's the reason why there were so many changes. It just rippled through everything.
Who comes up with the names that are going to be in her phone?
I was wondering that too.
Coming up with the names on the phone is usually the responsibility of the prop master. Because the prop master's name is Doug Harlocker, I think it's probably a pretty good guess it was him. But it's not just a nod to his brother or his father, whoever. It's done because he knows a name like that will clear.
Are you doing anything
Harry seems like such a lonely character. He has no friends other than Peter and MJ. So he just paints in his penthouse.
But has a buoyant spirit.
Yes.
I mean, he's not like a downer, lonely guy. He's like having a good time.
Especially after a significant brain injury.
We just get some food?
Right away, sir.
There's the downer. Wah, wah. Hey, Mr. Dickovich.
An orange?
No, thanks. Listen, I'm really sorry for what happened earlier. I shouldn't have yelled about that door. It was nothing to be angry about. When I'm working next to Sam, who's, you know, got a family with 5 children and is working around the clock, when we wrap, he's got a couple more hours of work, and he's working through the weekends and every lunch, and, you know, and we're working maybe on 2/3 or 3/4 of our lunches, and here and there on the weekends. When I would get a little tired or run down, I would look over at Sam and go, "My gosh, he's working so much harder than I am. I can't be soft here. I gotta step up." So you know, I think that's an effect of having worked with Sam for so long on these movies, and his work ethic is just unbelievable. And you know, and I think that we're also fortunate that we get to work with really extremely talented people who are really dedicated to their jobs.
Hi. You hungry?
Yeah.
Come on. Hope you like peppers.
I love this little thing with you, James, and you, Kirsten. You did such a great job, guys, with this. It was so much fun.
Okay, this was probably the most fun scene for me because it just was very relaxed and happy for a Spider-Man movie, and especially for MJ because I'm always sad and dealing with something.
Actually, a lot of work went into it. I had to go to culinary school for a day to learn how to make and flip omelets. And then I had a twist lesson.
It feels like you probably worked for a long time on this
Yeah.
twist lesson.
I mean, I do a lot of twisting when I'm just with my friends, but we wanted a more professional feel.
Right.
Well, you took your twisting on camera to a whole new level.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm so curious about this. Was this planned?
Oh yeah, this seemed like a real moment.
Sam?
Yes.
It was planned?
Yes.
That was so good.
He was supposed
Acting.
to look really smooth making that omelet, and then
I
a little
actually
bit of humanity.
never dropped an omelet if, you know, when I tried. But they had to make me drop it.
12th grade.
It's intense.
So, you want the part?
I'd love to be in your
There's actually more to that play, and it was a very horrible play.
What was it about?
I think it was like a late night meeting between 2 characters, and he was saying he would sail across the world for her.
Now, do you guys feel like you were betraying Peter there?
I guess so. Sam was horrified. He was so uncomfortable on set. I think he identifies with Peter too much.
As I would tend to take sides with Peter, I get rubbed the wrong way a little bit with that.
Yes, I understand that. I think I do too. You know, I think what happened was they were always lovers. Their story almost predates Peter's relationship with her.
Oh, come on. Even in the first movie, the guy makes a move on her when Peter was already after her. I got issues dating back to the first picture.
I know his father was not a great role model. He tries to be the best friend he can with a improper upbringing. You know, his father never instilled a great sense of morality in him. He's just a passionate guy.
So we're just a product of our parents. We're not responsible for ourselves or our actions.
I think he's responsible. I think he just got swept up in the moment, though, with his old love.
That's good. I'm going to try to use that in my life.
He died, right?
Yeah.
He knew that Peter liked her, but, you know, they had just met, he and Peter, and he actually stood up for Peter. And, you know, his feelings kind of took control. She was still kind of fair game.
Well, I think so. In a strange way, I understand that point of view, because in the credit sequence even, we see Harry come into the hospital room and Peter is holding hands with Mary Jane when he knew that they had an ongoing relationship.
That's
I
true.
think he just said,
Peter had...
Sorry to pull that one out.
Snap.
Yeah, well, I even playing that scene, and I remember it, I felt like I was doing like the appropriate thing by pulling my hand away, but felt betrayed at the same time.
Like you were betraying?
No, like I had to be appropriate by pulling my hand away, but it was a mixed kind of feeling because I felt like I shouldn't be in that position anyways. Like I had been betrayed in order to be in that position in the first place.
Right.
Because
Like
you
all
had,
those levels.
because you had
Well
already
said.
claimed her because you like expressed an interest in the science lab, and so she was yours.
Well, actually, I had been in love with her as stated since I was 5 or 6 years old.
Oh, he got you, dude. It's like in the opening credits, dude, of the first one.
Well, I guess Harry didn't have that chance. He had just started attending the school.
Oh, the cool new guy.
If it had not been for my father, who knows?
You know, the first connection I think that you guys had in regards to her is in that science lab you're talking about. And
I have to say, Harry was a little slimy in that scene. He started using Peter's own lines.
Yeah, exactly.
Any port in a storm. He's trying to survive with the girl. Use the material.
Hey.
Hey, when you guys were making the first film, this is kind of a weird question, but did you guys know, I mean, did you have a feeling, what was going to happen, or how excited everyone was, or did it really take you by surprise when it came out? I mean, everyone knew it was going to be an event movie, but...
I remember seeing Harry Potter. The first Harry Potter was released and made tons of money in its opening weekend, and it was such a phenomenon. Like, it was just everywhere, all over the kind of, you know, the news. And I was watching it going, man, that's crazy. I mean, it must be wild to be a part of something like that. And at the time we were making Spider-Man 1, I didn't really connect it that would be us in a few short months. But I did, you know, like you said, it's like you could definitely feel the anticipation and people were excited and talking about it. But when it happened, it was kind of surreal and mind-blowing. Like that weekend was wild.
I remember seeing you on The Tonight Show, like right after that first weekend. And like, I don't know, you know, all that crazy, Jay Leno's asking you, like, did you go to theaters and watch it and stuff like that?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that must have been paralyzing that week.
It was fun mostly, although I was a little surprised just by the immediacy of the shift, you know, of attention. It was like, you know, I was recognized here and there prior to that, and then all of a sudden, like, there was paparazzi following me to lunch. You know what I mean? It was like, oh no, what happened? But it was cool just being a part of the event of the movie, and that's what was fun. You know, we did go to theaters and to hear people cheer and laugh together, to have this group experience, and that's what was fulfilling and made me feel good about being a part of that.
This was actually one of our last weeks of shooting. And I knew that when this scene was done, I was kind of free because this was my last, like, emotional or kind of dialogue scene. I was kind of scot-free after this.
Bravo.
She says that she's lonely, that I'm not there for her. There's another guy.
This scene and the next scene were really my only chances to be a malicious villain who is toying with Peter, you know, is just really trying to hurt him in a underhanded malicious way, and that's always fun. As Venom, playing more of a traditional villain who doesn't really have a conscience, and that can be very fun as an actor. So, I had a good time with these scenes.
She was fired from the show. Alvin had written a great scene in this diner, but then we were having trouble finding it, and I remember that I felt at the time, had we not had that so much trust in each other, then we would have had a real difficult time with this scene, but you guys really pulled that out. And I remember thinking it was due to the friendship that we built up and the trust of each other. This is one of a few scenes I felt that way when the day had ended.
Yeah.
A lot of conclusions we had come to were only because we could trust each other so deeply.
I mean, that was amazing as an actor to have that kind of feeling of trust and support from you, Sam, as an actor, from your director, because it really puts you at ease. Like, for me, I was really at ease, and we had so many moving parts that if we would adjust this scene, it would affect other scenes. So we ended up, it was kind of a domino thing where we were then tinkering constantly throughout the whole shooting process. And normally you might be pulling your hair out going, are we going to make it happen? This is a lot of responsibility, and we're kind of flying by the seat of our pants. And like you said, I felt like so comfortable with your support, and the whole group, I really felt like we all had common goals and knew what we were doing, and so I never was worried about it. I felt like we would find it every day.
I also liked the familiarity of my good friend Bill Pope, just in a different way, having a cinematographer there that wants to help, that knows when to be quiet, knows when to contribute, is always making it better quietly behind the scenes. That was part of my family behind the camera that really supported me. We had the same grip as on the last picture, Tony Mizuchi.
Great guy.
He's a very funny guy. I've known him for a lot of years. And also Bill's gaffer was the same, Bobby Finley, who I've known for a lot of years, and he even had a chance to do some photography on this picture.
Harry always seems to have a drink
I was noticing that.
in all the pictures. Usually it's Maker's Mark for some reason.
Why?
I don't know. I think it makes a small cameo in this scene. It falls into the fire.
What did you do to her?
I did what you failed to do. I was there for her. Mary Jane and I, we understand each other.
She doesn't know what you are.
Peter, she knows me very well. And when she kissed me, it was just like she used to kiss me. That taste. Strawberries.
I like that little sound effect in there. That ringing, the high piercing kind of thing.
I like that.
That was good.
A great score by Chris Young here, this jazzy.
There it is. You catch it? That was it.
I saw.
I love that in this scene, because it's like a fist fight between friends. They're in their civilian clothes, so to speak, and it's much rougher, and it's like two guys kind of killing each other, trying to kill each other, instead of like two superheroes or two, a villain and a superhero.
Yeah. I mean, I think that was the important thing of what the amnesia bit did, is it enabled us to rekindle the friendship, and you got to see what it was made of, so that these scenes are not just a generic villain and superhero fighting. It's really just two friends, and you really can feel their history, and so the fight scenes mean much more.
Dan Bradley did a great job in the choreography of this scene, assisted with all the great stunt riggers that helped him out in it.
Yeah, Scott Rogers is also, I'm confused by the titles a little, but I know Dan Bradley's like second unit director as well as on the stunt team being like a coordinator, and Scott Rogers is also a coordinator.
Yes, he's credited as stunt coordinator, although they do it together, really.
Okay, right. Yeah, so they were both excellent as leaders of the stunt team, and the rigging guys were great. I mean, another issue of trust, which is like some of the stuff we do in this movie.
Like this explosion behind you here.
You know, potentially, you know, we're at risk, but they're so good at their job, and the safety measures they take made me feel really comfortable. And they make it really dynamic and exciting.
Spider-Man used to make me feel safe. Now I'm afraid to walk home from work.
My son thought the world of this guy.
I have a 9-year-old daughter who loves Spider-Man. Who's she supposed to look up to now?
This is the guy that gave the key to the city to?
I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye. That was Sam's idea, the like kind of, that kind of, right?
That was actually Ivan's line.
Oh, that was Ivan's line?
Yeah.
The concept of like bringing some jazz to his character and that kind of old school speak. That was you and Ivan?
Yeah.
That was great.
Thanks.
I never thought he'd really do that.
See? Right there. You made a judgment call. You gotta see.
It's so nasty, Topher. Came up with that. See, right there, you made a judgment call.
I love it.
It's very, similar.
Okay. Well, I gotta get back to work.
You're trash, Brock.
Excuse me?
Your picture's a fake.
Oh, Parker, you are such a Boy Scout. When are you gonna give a guy a break?
You want forgiveness? Get religion.
What's going on here?
Are you guys all right?
Topher, I really like the way you delivered this next piece.
Oh, thanks. You know, I really like that "you want religion, get forgiveness" line. It's kind of like not easily connected to me going into the church, but I think it was like the second time I saw it, really picking up on that. I don't know if it's meant to be connected or not, but I really like that line.
Yes, it was. When Alvin wrote it, that is what he meant.
Tell him to check his source next.
There's kind of a black and white quality to religion.
It's a fake. Empire State Photographic Department confirms it.
Pack your things. Get out of my building.
I was just...
You're fired! You know we're gonna have to print a retraction now.
Haven't printed a retraction in 20 years!
Dude, this is my favorite part of this movie, is you doing this cookies thing, man. I just think this is so hilarious, the way you talk down to her. It's like... Well, the first time I saw it, I just cracked up. You couldn't care less about what this guy's saying.
It was a lot of fun, but it really is a solution to a problem we had, which is we had to have this scene with Doc Connors giving Peter this information, but we didn't think Peter would care so much about what Doc Connors had to say. And it was supposed to be like a scene, you know, where Peter's listening to Doc Connors. So this was our solution, I mean, to that problem.
I love that she loves it. That's the best part.
Go make me some. Peter? No, of course not.
It's really good. It probably came from a question you had about, would the character really do that? You know, would he really be interested in this even? And then the scene became about, well, where would the character be? He couldn't give a crap.
But this was something that you kind of put in late in the game, right, Sam? The whole montage was up in the air for a while with the walking down the street and the cookie scene and all this stuff, wasn't it?
Yes. There were a lot of things that we had to do and wanted to communicate. And then Ivan and I, one day, in the writing department, combined them into a montage. We were thinking about the second picture also at that point, thinking, oh, this will be an interesting counterpoint to the whipped lame place he'd been to in the second picture.
Was Singing in the Rain and all that stuff. Yeah, exactly.
I always thought of Tobey in these scenes as like an angry, dorky rock star because he has this eyeliner on, his hair is all shagged out, and he's like very 70s about it and doing weird dance moves. Wow. There's not much to say after that move.
I like that you went up there and did that.
Yeah.
It's really entertaining.
There's a geek flair to it, but you actually have some good moves.
Well, thank you, sir. The geek flair was not an accident.
Oh my God.
Had to add that. That was the toughest part of the whole thing. Sam actually kept saying, you gotta bring the cool down.
No. I remember that part.
Oh, you don't remember that, Sam?
Thomas insisted on doing this on like one of the coldest nights of the year and soaking wet.
Yeah, water scenes are the worst.
Sam gleefully dumped bucket after bucket after bucket of water on top of me, but thank God it was hot water, so we would get a steam effect. Penny.
You are really gonna dig this joint.
Do you think I'm dressed all right? Too fancy or?
Are you kidding me? You're looking fine, babe.
Thank you.
Love that little giggle.
Eddie Brock was really obsessed with her after one day.
I was really just tapped into that just working with Bryce.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been to a jazz club before. Oh, I hope we can get a table.
Find us some shade. I love how you can never quite tell how the ladies are reacting to Peter. Like, are they repulsed? Are they turned on? Or a little bit of both? I mean,
I think it's like real life, a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I love doing this scene. It was so much fun. And I mean, just our dialogue and stuff I'm saying at the table here. It was fun finding the tone for that and just working with you. Bryce was, and then our prep for it too with the
It was so much fun.
the choreographers and stuff. I was like really not sure about this whole thing at first, what it was gonna be like, but ended up being a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Bryce, you were great in that scene, I thought, at the table with him. I just love your performance with him.
Thank you.
You're really concerned and earnest. And I love that ad-lib you guys did walking to the club itself. That was all just you guys voicing your own concerns and your attitudes. That's great.
Toby, you practiced for months on the piano, right? I saw you practicing in your room.
I did practice a lot just to. I mean, I still couldn't really play it.
Well, you learned to play that part of the piece.
Yeah, I learned to play that part of the piece.
This scene took literally like a good 2 weeks.
I love how there's so many different genres in this movie. Little pastiches like musicals, and you have action, comedy, drama, and they all seem to be like genres from the 50s.
I love that, how you do that. It was like a little zoom in with the wind blow there.
Oh, that was Sam. I could not believe that when that happened, because here's this huge film, and Sam just picks up this little piece of cardboard and just stands by the camera and just like keeps flipping it. I was like, isn't there something more high-tech you could do in place of this instead of the director taking this over?
You guys both did a great job with the choreographer. That was Marguerite Derricks and her assistant, really toning it down, making it elegant. Toby was making sure that it didn't go like to outrageous proportions of a Spider-Man dance, but still had enough wild stuff to say he was being irresponsible and risking his identity just to hurt this girl. I thought that was a really good balance you came up with.
It was great.
Yeah, Toby, you're a really good dancer. Because the way they would do it is they would have us work with professional dancers, like each one of us, and then we would be paired together. And he was right up there. He was really, really good.
He has moves.
Yeah, he does.
I'm so sorry.
I love this reaction of yours here, Toby. It's one of my favorite moments of the picture. His conscience is coming through. Just for a moment. His ego swells up again, and his need for her drives him into this moment. I love the way you play this. Guy who's had a few too many drinks, love drunk.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
You. Can I help you, sir? No.
Is everything okay here, Paul?
Yeah.
It's so weird because, you know, Kirsten and I are so estranged right now. We're so distant, the most we've been, right? Then, of course, there's this ugliness.
I thought it was great that Kevin Feige, who was the president of Marvel Studios, and Avi Arad, the former president, allowed us to take the character of Spider-Man and Peter Parker into such extreme places. It's kind of risky for them, and they, in the interest of trying to make the best picture, they really went for it.
Mm. Yeah, it's remarkable to watch Peter Parker from the beginning of the film, like watching Mary Jane being so proud of her and so in love with her, and then now there's like domestic violence. It's such a huge shift. It's amazing. But I think that's what's so wonderful about these films is the complexities of the characters, that it just doesn't rely on the action, that its appeal fundamentally is from the story and from the various story arcs.
I've always seen MJ's character as someone who's trying to find themselves and has been in a lot of turmoil, like inner turmoil within herself, and has real intelligence and awareness about things, but at the same time is confused and in pain. And I just think it's such a great character.
It's Brock, sir. Edward Brock, Jr. I come before you today, humbled and humiliated, to ask you for one thing.
This is when I first came to you and talked to you about the role of Eddie.
I want you to kill Peter.
I mean, like, this was my dream. I remember you telling me you were just writing this thing in the church. And then I remember when we read it at the read-through, it seemed like the coolest thing. And then when we did it, of course, there's a lot of loss of romance because you're seeing, the seams. And then I remember seeing little clips of this when we went to Comic-Con, when they cut together that preview, and geeking out backstage so hard. And literally, I think Laura or someone came out to me and said, you gotta like chill out a little bit if you're starring in one of these movies. Like, you can't be this excited about it. But I mean, this is the reason you do one of these.
I thought you gave a great physical performance, while pretending that stuff was lifting you up. And
well, a lot of it was trusting you, Sam, and just knowing that you were going to do something amazing with it.
I love that final motion you made, too. That's obviously they're covering you with CG goo, but that's all you underneath there was.
Remember, you poured real goo on me that one time. Kind of an experiment, and that didn't work, I guess. Yeah, you don't remember that?
No, I think I do remember pouring goo on you, and none of the physical goo on set ever had any life to it.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was very unorganic.
In this picture, there's thousands of effects, and they could not have been achieved without great editor Bob Murawski, visual effects editor, like the best in the world, which is Jody Fidel. But also, there's a great organization and artistic control at the top of the SPI organization in Scott Stockdike. And he is a man who is very careful and at the same time is rushed along and forced to do things at breakneck speed, but he has a great eye for detail, and these effects never would have been anything close to what they were without him on the job. Rosemary was such a life force, that woman, both on the set, but most recently when we were promoting the picture. She's just so positive, with positive energy pouring out of her. She's such a brilliant actress, and yet she's so appreciative to be in these pictures, which is very embarrassing for me because I think you're the one who's brilliant, not the movies.
She's amazing, and yeah, on the press tour she would say, "I feel like I'm on a magic carpet ride, and I don't want to get off." And and it was great, and I think we all shared that sentiment, but she kind of became a leader in that way, where it was just like, to take that moment while you're busy working to just reflect and be grateful for what we're doing and how fortunate we are.
I found her to be supremely elegant, particularly on the press tour.
She's such a good listener in all the scenes that when we work with her. I mean, in the drama itself, I can really see her experiencing these moments.
But what happened? Oh, you seem so sure.
Yeah. And when we first started to work with her on the first Spider-Man picture, she knew Willem. She had acted with him before. They were old friends, and it was like they were coming together again. It was really sweet to see, because they had that Thanksgiving scene together, a brief moment, a very funny bit that he and her did together, where she's serving this turkey to the group. And then she also knew Cliff Robertson. I don't know if they had performed together, but they were old friends also. I was really surprised to see that.
Oh, wow.
I believe in you, Peter.
And whenever Cliff would come back for part 2 or part 3, she'd be there and just to support him. It was wonderful, wonderful to see. Even that one night we were out, Thomas, you and I and Cliff.
Yeah, I remember that she came with Ralph Fiennes. They were walking around, and they just stopped by where we were shooting. Cliff had mentioned to me that he had known her for many, many years, and I thought it was purely accidental that she happened to show up on the night that he was working. I thought she just, they were walking around, and then found out they were old friends, and she was there to be supportive of Cliff. It was very sweet.
I want him dead too, Flint.
Great muscle control, by the way, Topher. I know you're on wires, but to sell that walk must have been, and you had to exert a lot of energy.
I think I had Scott holding my legs.
I was holding.
I was doing it. He was digitally erased. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I was on wires.
I remember every take too. By the time you were crawling along the wall, and as you approached and you got at your closest point to me, you were completely out of breath every take.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
And I was marveling.
I gained a lot of respect for Tobey doing that. Yeah.
But I was marveling at all of the stunt work, even in at times it seems insignificant little moves on those wires and in those harnesses. I really had a newfound appreciation for what Tobey does and the stunt guys and what Alfred Molina did in the second picture. And it's just those stunt harnesses are remarkably uncomfortable.
Yeah, Tobey, what you should really hate is that a lot of people assume because there is CGI in the film, and Sam, you should all say this too, because I know you like doing so much of it in camera, which I respect so much, because a lot of it you could just wave kind of the magic wand of digital whatever and say, I mean, it could look not as good basically, but kind of real. But I love that you do as much of it as you can without special effects. It helps the actors. But I think both you guys, I don't think people know how much of this stuff, Tobey, like you did. Like I remember watching you for hours, being whipped around by wires. I think people think, oh, that must be the CGI version of him.
Yeah, but you end up doing a lot of stuff, and I always want to give credit everywhere else because I get so much of the credit as it is, and there's so many people that work so hard on it to make it amazing that I'm constantly out there, talking about everybody else's work because it is such a collaborative effort to make a movie. And for as much work as I'm doing, I don't know how many stunt doubles I have. I've had through the various films because we've had specialty guys come in for one shot. So there's probably been a good 5 or 6 Spideys throughout the years. who've done such great work, they get it much worse than I do. So I always feel like, I can't complain or I'm a super wimp.
Well, in that armored car sequence, that a guy that literally was a one-armed boxing champion who punched, to get the shot, he punched into my body with, where he doesn't have an arm, which I thought was
that's crazy.
A unique, a unique choice.
To the scene with Jennifer Dugan. Jennifer?
We're only about 100 feet away now.
Chris Daniels has been our kind of main go-to stunt Spidey to help us with a lot of the choreography of Spider-Man.
That's right. Through all three pictures, he's really been, although I don't want to short all the other stuntmen.
No, of course.
He's been the number one Spidey.
Right.
Did most of the stuff that when the stuntman was called for.
And was also on the press tour doing elaborate exhibitions in Moscow and other far-reaching places on Earth.
This final battle that Spider-Man's going off to in a moment was so complicated with so many sets and this three-story structure that had to double like the 70th floor of the skyscraper and down below shooting in New York. It really is a testament to the great organizational skills of Eric Heffron, Michael Moore, my first AD, and the key second assistant director, Michael Moore. And then great organization by Joe Caracciolo, who's the executive producer on the picture, but really is the nuts and bolts man, along with Grant Curtis, to make it run. But Joe did a great job, along with his right-hand man, our production manager, Dennis Stewart. They really pulled together excellent organization to pull off all these illusions and all these units that were so complicated to conduct. And then we were shooting this final sequence 24 hours a day, 5 different stages. There's Mr. Paxton. You guys were talking about what a fine gentleman he is.
Mm. Yeah, I think he just had 1 or 2 very brief scenes in the first movie, and here he is with his own very important scene in the last one.
He gave everything he had to make the very best performance that he could, and even afterwards, he gave me a call that he was a little concerned, and I told him he did just a brilliant job.
Mm.
Now, Kirsten, I think that you talked to Sam about just not being in peril all the time, and you wanted to be more active within the action stuff. So this is something I believe you guys did a lot of work on to make you more active.
So now we're at the end, and I'm in peril. This is weeks and weeks, basically, on an LA soundstage. And this wasn't actually supposed to be me. This was supposed to be Bryce. And then they changed it and made MJ in peril. But it was really supposed to be Bryce who was supposed to be in peril at the end. And Sam made a phone call to me. If she's not in peril, we have to have that, and blah, blah, blah. So I was supposed to get off scot-free during this entire film without one scene of being in peril. But that changed.
Although the character went to a lot of new places, what was similar, what she feared would be similar is the girl in peril, being her again. So actually, I tried to change the script with my brother and Alvin to make it Miss Howard the one in peril.
I'm gonna get you out of this.
Hey, Parker.
My God, Eddie.
Ooh, my spider sense is tingling. If you know what I'm talking about.
can find a way to settle this.
You're so right. I'm thinking humiliation. Kind of like how you humiliated me.
I love that performance because I can see you re-experiencing in that moment. You were great. You made it real. I feel he really did humiliate you, and he did. In his blind, dark ego moments.
You made me lose my girl. Now I'm gonna make you lose yours.
I just think Topher's performance is so dexterous in this sequence. Going from vicious to pathos to...
Oh God, that's so scary.
Oh, thank you.
Viper-like.
Mm-hmm.
Sam, I just love the idea that you and Alvin and Ivan sat around and like, you know, maybe we should throw a dump truck at her.
Thomas, did you do your own grunts?
I did.
That's him, yeah. They're slowed down and treated by Paul, our sound supervisor.
Otteson.
That's right.
They combined them with grinding rock special audio effects. I think, Sam, aren't there also mixed in some animal exhortations of some sort?
We finally, I think, I'm not certain, that we ended up with no animal elements, just your human element and about 20 other organic elements that Paul recorded himself and mixed in with that, your human sound. E.J. Kreiser was instrumental in doing sketches and illustrations in creating the look of the giant Sandman. James Atchison worked with him a great deal. And also, E.J. was also the architect for the look of Sandman, for the birth of the Sandman sequence.
It's hard to believe what's happening. The brutality of it. I don't know how we can take any more.
This could be a tragic day for the people of New York. It could be the end of Spider-Man.
Very difficult to shoot all these shots because I remember we were on that skyscraper set and some of you guys had to be on wires, or we were up 30 feet in the air and we had to balance on these beams. Nothing was simple. The camera had to get up there on a big stick up at that height. It was very difficult to stage a lot of these moments, which a normal drama would have been very simple. Plus, because of their unique nature, it was tough, I think, on you actors because every line was broken up. Say this line, on Tuesday, the following line will be said 2 weeks later on another set. And on and on. I thought it was very challenging for everybody to keep the continuity consistent performance-wise, and for Bill Pope and Robert Finley, his gaffer, look-wise also.
just a kid.
All right, how much for the camera?
100.
She's a good little actress.
I'm very proud of her.
Hey.
Here. What the?
Film's extra.
Beef up top!
I was so glad that it was Mary Jane who was in peril because, I mean, that's what's brought them together, and their friendship especially, and their mutual love of her, and I just thought that was so important.
It was out of a desire, this is what I was starting, you're referring to what I was referencing earlier.
Mm-hmm.
It was out of a desire to listen to Kirsten and not repeat ourselves, but it was a new thing, in fact, that the two fellas were going to be working together.
Mm-hmm.
These rivals in love were going to work together to save the one they both loved. It trumped the idea that we might be repeating an element. That's why I came to you and Tobey that night or day and said, you guys have got to help me. I've got to make a big change here. I hope you can get behind me.
Mm-hmm.
And had a lot of ramifications, though, you know, negative ramifications, too, that performances that we had given would be looked at differently in retrospect now that we know it was her we're going to.
Mm.
But I think we all pulled together and made it work, which I'm very appreciative of.
No, I thought that was really wise.
I think it worked out. Yeah, I mean, I think it was the great choice, too. It just was a little jarring to shift gears in the middle of the show like that.
Me too. For me, too. Shocking. It was shocking for me, actually.
Yeah, it was a major decision. I mean, like I said, I've told people I've never seen you ever lose your cool, Sam, but that seemed like the most stressed out I've ever seen you. Just to really change a huge plot point like that in the middle of a shoot.
Never wound what you can't kill. Eddie, the suit. You gotta take it off.
Oh, you'd like that, wouldn't you?
I know what it feels like. It feels good. The power, everything. But you'll
This
lose
makeup was so awful.
To wear?
Yeah, it's 4 hours every day. That's a fake eyebrow. And, you know, all those pieces to glue them on. It's funny because they just look like little things you'd tack on, but then they got to paint all around every vine. And it's attached to the suit, so I had to do all, you know, it's like a while to put on the suit, and then makeup's 4 hours. I'd come in at like 4 in the morning. It was crazy.
This is really effective. Did Vivian Baker do it?
No, it was, I mean, Vivian did my makeup normally when I was Eddie.
Mm-hmm.
It was Doug No, and of course Shoni Smith had a lot to do with it. And I couldn't even read anything. I just had to stare straight ahead because if my face was up or down, it would affect how those vines kind of where they attached. And then the thing that they put in the fangs, and that was the thing that would just send me over the top.
Oh, God.
But I guess it was good for the acting.
Okay, I forgive you for the betrayals earlier. You took a mortal wound for me. All is forgiven. Hard to be mad after that.
I actually don't think it pierced any vital organs, and Harry actually is not dead.
Ah, are you just saying this to not ruin it for the viewer, or to campaign for a 4th movie?
I also think it's questionable whether or not
casket.
Venom ate it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, did he really die? I mean, what is death, really? You know?
Gwen Stacy's surely alive.
Yeah, that's true.
Good point.
I love that Peter decides to save Eddie Brock from his own malevolent, maniacal manifestation. I love that moment that he saves his life. And then Eddie commits suicide.
I will say he was a little slow in getting to him. It was like Eddie was in there getting wrapped up, and a beat later he's like, Eddie! Oh,
you wanted to let them. You wanted to let the mother alien toy with him just a little longer.
That's funny you say suicide, because I'd love to hear what you think, Sam, but I actually didn't think it was a suicide. I thought it was just, I always saw the suit as being cocaine or alcohol or anything that's addictive that makes your demons come out, makes you feel more powerful when you're on it, but then you're very regretful for what you did afterwards. There's an awareness that he's throwing a bomb into it, but I always saw it as like he wasn't even thinking about committing suicide. He just was trying to get some more of that stuff before it was gone. But what do you think, Sam?
I think that's right, and then I'd add to it, if he was aware of someone in danger, my baby, like he wants the thing that's most valuable and important to him, to his being. It's that stuff, I've got to have it. Don't hurt it. I desire to be with it.
You had a choice when you killed my uncle.
My daughter was dying. Yeah, this scene, the culmination and resolution of Sandman or Flint Marko and Peter Parker's story, that I was supremely impressed with Tobey's focus and dedication to the specificity of what his character was feeling, and the number of times that we did work through it, and I think we actually shot, I remember about 4 versions of it. Why don't you just put down the gun and go home?
Now, I think to what you were saying earlier, Sam, about the difficulty about sort of the plot change and how that was going to affect me or my character or my performance, part of that was because some of the conclusions weren't, we knew where we were going, but it was going to affect everything, and we kind of didn't know exactly what the end of the movie was. So I didn't quite know where I was going with the character. I mean, I knew about and roughly, but with all of these scenes, we had work to do to polish them or flesh them out, and this is one of those scenes, I think, that ended up being great, but we had to give a lot of attention to.
Yes, you, Alvin Sargent, Thomas really worked on this scene to make it work. I mean, you really hammered on it. We rehearsed again and again. We had script sessions with Alvin. Ivan was there sometimes. And we just kept working the material, trying to find what was true about it, what they'd really say, really feel, what conclusions they'd really come to. What a process this was. This was a real collaboration. That's the only word I can give to it. I really think the character has grown quite a bit here. And I think it's a good message for kids to go see when they see the picture, that it's one where the main character's most important thing that he learns is the value of forgiveness. And especially when it's a superhero picture, made for kids. I think it's a positive thing if you're a parent bringing your kids to the picture to have this contained within it, this journey. But to make it real, you guys did a beautiful job in your performances.
I forgive you.
I really feel the secret of forgiveness within your performance, Tobey, that the real gift of forgiveness is in those that forgive. They're released from bondage of hatred. Mm-hmm. I see it in this close-up, in the last close-up, and in this next close-up. I see Thomas has been released, obviously. This was Thomas's idea, by the way.
Yeah, great idea, too.
But here I feel it. All flowing out of you. When Thomas came up with that ending, he said, Sam, maybe I would just, once I'm forgiven, I'm released, and the visual is me just blowing away, and it's a cloud of sand. And that was so right on.
Sad scene. A lot of people hate you now, Sam, for killing me.
They do?
That's what I'm told.
Is one of those people's names James Franco?
All of my family.
Right.
Sorry, but you went out as a hero.
Yeah, you really did.
None of that matters, Peter. You're my friend.
Best friend.
I'm in firm support that Eddie should have died, and I think that Eddie's and look, it's not good for business for the Grace clan, but I think that I always thought that my definition of Eddie was the opposite of what Tobey had done in the first two movies, but they're in the same place. You know, they have the same job, and they're kind of after the same girls, and you know, Eddie on the outside has kind of the leg up. You know, he's got a stronger exterior. And I know this from living in Hollywood. People that have strong exteriors are masking weak interiors. So I thought everything that I did in a way was a compliment to the character of Peter. And I feel like that's why he should have gotten punished. Whereas Peter, when he received the same gift, and because he had a strong interior, could kind of battle it, Eddie had to succumb to it and also had done some really awful things.
Whatever comes our way, whatever battle we have raging inside us, we always have a choice. My friend Harry taught me that. He chose to be the best of himself. It's the choices that make us who we are, and we can always choose to do what's right.
I felt like Kirsten looks so vulnerable in this scene.
When I went out with you guys with these movies, foreign, it's the opposite effect on me what I thought it would be. You know, you'd think it would be ego boosting, but it has just the opposite effect. It's like, it's very humbling to go out there. All these people are cheering on Spider-Man and the coming of the movie. And what it really means is they recognize that a story recognizes the goodness within, potential within all of us. That's what these Spider-Man stories are. Peter Parker is a kid who's coming of age and recognizing he's capable of greatness and good deeds and the beauty of responsibility and the beauty of love. And that's what these people know to be true, that love is beautiful, that they're all capable of being heroic. And the movies just tell these familiar stories with a very familiar character, Spider-Man. And I've come to realize that's what all the hoopla is really about, is people celebrating the recognition of storytellers, actors, writers, telling that story that they know to be true and that they love about themselves.
The final scene in the jazz club here where I'm going to go see Kirsten, and I remember feeling like really kind of emotional about it because I felt like, you know, the end of the movie and the end of the three movies, and who knows if we make more movies or not, and so it felt like a kind of a finality to it. And I felt really emotional. It made me reflect, and I carried that. It made me reflect on how much, you know, these movies have given to me, meant to me, the relationships, the working relationships, the reaction from the fans, and I agree, Sam. I mean, it was humbling, you know, to be a part of that, because you realize we're, you know, giving it all we got, but we're playing, we're having fun and doing this, and it becomes something bigger than that. And it's kind of great to be a part of that. And, you know, and I carried that with me when I was out there doing the press, because I was so grateful, and I just felt like we are so fortunate. So I was really excited to be a part of it and to present it to whoever it was. And I know at the end of this press tour, we were all kind of sitting around going, okay, where else can we go? What else can we do? We want to like go bring this to more people and you know, keep on living this experience.
For me, it was toured a bit on the other ones, but I guess I never did the full tour. It's quite extensive and exhausting, just, you know, because there were so many, you know, we did almost a different country a day. I remember thinking at the beginning that I wouldn't be able to get through it just because I was so exhausted. But like Tobey was talking about before, I remember standing backstage, I think in London, before the London premiere, and Rosemary was So I remember just being so happy to be there, and I looked at Tobey, and he seemed to be so happy too, and I could understand because I knew how tiring it was and how many interviews I've been doing, and he just made me realize what a unique experience it was. How many movies am I going to work on that have this much anticipation and this much excitement and that so many people enjoy. I mean, who knows if it'll ever happen again. And so from that point on, I really just went with the ride, and it turned out to be an amazing experience.
So working on the third movie it's kind of like coming home to a family because we all know each other so well. So it's really the most comfortable I think we've all been with each other, and the most collaborative we've been as a team together because we know each other so well, and we've kind of grown up together in a way. And so I think it's reflective also in these images. You realize how long we've actually known each other. I really feel like I've grown up with these people.
I was disappointed because I couldn't go and travel with everyone because I had just given birth.
Yes, for a very good reason.
Yeah. But I was up in my room with my baby and just very, very young, and I would check on the internet and kind of see where everyone was, how everyone was doing, and everyone just looked, of course, like they were doing a lot, but I could tell that there was that gratitude there for the appreciation that the world was really showing them.
Well, I wanted the whole thing. I grew up watching Star Wars and playing with Star Wars action figures, and like I said, I was a huge fan of the Spider-Man comic book. So coming in this late in the trilogy, you kind of know the ride that you're in for. It totally surpassed what I could have expected. I think I went to 10 different countries or 11 different countries, and to see that it's not a national hero, Spider-Man. He's like a global hero. See that kind of fan reaction and see action figures, and you don't usually have that tactile reaction from fans about your work, and to be able to meet them. So the whole thing was totally lived beyond my expectations.
And as far as taking the movie around the world, you really, whether it's Moscow or Tokyo or San Antonio, Texas, everywhere that we took the movie on the press tour, but then just the places that I've been and how people are they have such warmth and such appreciation and look forward to the Spider-Man movies with such kind of innocent anticipation, and I think that the expectations have been fulfilled.
Thanks for watching Spider-Man 3 with us. We've had a wonderful time making these pictures, and we really appreciate all the fan support, and we hope you've enjoyed them. I'd like to say goodbye now to you and also give you to James Franco.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been quite a journey. I've enjoyed all three films, and especially just the people I've worked with and material we've been given and all the fan support. Thank you for watching.
Thank you so much for watching, and without the audience, these movies really mean nothing. And it was just a tremendous honor to be a part of this third film, and I'm mighty impressed with the results. I'm so pleased with what I see.
Sam, thank you for the opportunity to let me squeak in at the last minute and be a part of this trilogy. You're in cast as an actor, and sometimes, it's fun and you get along with people, and sometimes you don't. But that was the thing that was so fun about going around the world doing the press. We got to live in this community a little bit longer. I had a lot of fun with all you guys, so thank you for that. And my rap album drops in early 2008.
Well, I just had a great time making these movies with all the people that's worked on them, and I really feel like it's given me so much, and we've got a little family unit working together to make these films, and I feel like they were our films for many years, and now they're yours. So thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks.